Okay, so we've got this bump on his back right there. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces above that point. Make valley fold through all the layers. Okay, so when you push, you've got 4 more boxes until you get to the back of this. Okay, and that's how his neck is supposed to be positioned, like that. Alright, but these spikes on the back, it might be easier as we shape it. You'll kind of push in from behind, and then you kind of slide the paper a little bit. You push to make this a mountain fold going in to the body. And you can kind of, once you get them started, you can kind of pull the paper up a little bit too, carefully, and slide them up a little bit more even, to really get them to stand out. But pretty much this mountain fold here is 2 boxes long. It's this one and this one, and then you're really like folding through a lot of layers, and then kind of, once you have it going in the right direction, kind of lift up on them to get them spiky. I guess you could do the corners up too to make it look even more spiky. I don't know. Whatever looks cool to you. You can shape this however you want. These are just tips on how I folded it. That kind of looks dumb. Maybe don't do that. Just do this. Alright. So now the ribs. The ribs are pretty simple. You gather them up and make sure that the crease is the one that was there. You know, you don't want it to be off center. You want the crease to come all the way to the tip of the ribs. And then this, you've got 1, 2, 3 sections long, kind of that second crease in. Push them back along that one, and then kind of spread them out too, like this. It's a little tricky. The ribs aren't really going to be in the position you want them to until you get to like the wet folding. They'll want to slide around a lot and be really annoying, but once you get the model to the point where it's starting to dry and really hold its shape, you'll be able to spread the chest apart and make the ribs go the exact direction that you need them to be going in. But for right now, just kind of get them ready so that when you shape the model with some kind of paper stiffener, it's going to look like that. Alright, the neck comes down like this. Now let's do the legs. Alright, next we move on to the legs. If you find this crease here along the first claw, I'm going to find the diagonal right next to it and start doing spread sinks all the way up. Start here at the very end, spread that one out, and just keep moving up, pushing a layer over each time. And spread that out. And reach in and find the next one. Last one. It's a little tricky as you come up because you get more layers on this side. But do all 6 of them. Last one. There we go. All right, now you're going to take the toes, the claws, and just the end ones. Do that to all of them as well. Spread that side out. And then come over here to the other and do both sides. This one, fold that back in half. And then get the other side. Okay. Now find the this outside claw here and spread that one out. Got a little messy there, but just take your time and spread these out evenly. You should have 2 that kind of face each other, more like that. So you have one going this way and one coming back this way. And then fold that in half. This extra piece of paper here, you can just kind of do sink like that and come back up and then fold it back down. All of this just kind of gets shaped into a point, so it doesn't really matter too much about that extra flap of paper. Okay, so now all of these points you want to flatten out. Just gather everything up and kind of shaping them into a point like this. Do the same thing with the toes. But first you want to find this row of triangles that you made and get this piece of paper in the webbing, push that down. Forgot to do that first. Push that down so that it looks like that. Okay. And now try to round the claws out, kind of flatten them out, and then hinge all of this back along the ankle, right where that smaller claw in the back comes in. Just push all of this back so that it is going this way with the leg. Okay, and then flatten all these down. And then slightly curve the ends. Like this. It looks like you could hold on to balsamus or something. Okay, so you want to like kind of push from behind here so that the rectangle or the triangles are in front. So you push the paper together like that. And then on the third triangle, 1, 2, 3, make that like the knee. Fold along that edge of the triangle and then fold down. So you kind of give it a hinge like that. Okay, and then use the layers, get the arm out of the way, the layers here to like push this leg out and make it look, shape it to look, make it look bigger than the bottom part. Like push some of the layers out a little bit, really move it down. And this, you want the leg to kind of kick out so that the knee is past the elbow. Okay, like, it's tricky because it takes a little while to shape this part of the leg, but if you see what I'm talking about, you want the foot to be forward, but you want the knee to be kind of out to the side and the elbow to kind of rest inside of the knee, like this. Okay, just like that. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other leg. Okay, so there's really only two more little details to do. You want to take the chin here and fold that in half, and then take these spikes on the side and flatten them out like this. Do that on the other side too. All right, like that. And then make sure, hope this works. Sometimes the paper cooperates with you. You can just kind of push the nose in a little bit, and then the eyes will spread back out like that. Anyway, work on that so that the eyes come back out. Like that. Okay. And then have the head rounded off in the back here. Now the tail, you want to round this by pressing in here, and then really spend a lot of time and maybe try to fold these layers over as much as you can and get it to the point where it's rounded off enough and you can kind of roll it. Really try to get all those layers to round out as much as they can. When you shape the tail, you can either have the tail pointed straight down or back. When you do that, just be really careful and do very kind of a gradual crease, because the tail might rip. There's so many layers in it. Okay, this is the very last part. You're going to take these spikes on the tail, point them out like this, and then just push this extra part of paper up like this. So now the tail spikes are pointed out to the side, and then you take this layer and flatten, flatten that out so that it's pointed. And fold it in half. And then when you shape it, just fold the sides under, roll all this under to make it spiky. And the same thing with these side spikes, just push this top part under like that. Kind of work the paper to make it spiky. And then keep rounding out the paper on either side of the tail, above and below those spikes, to really make it look like it could hurt you, menacing like that. All right, so this is what you should end up with, something that looks like this, which you can then add your CMC glue or wallpaper paste to shape the model into whatever final shape you want. In the game, he kind of does this kind of attack, like pogo sticks on his tail. You could have the tail back, which I recommend if you want this to be a shelf model. because then you can shape the legs, kind of angle the tail down like this and then have it drag along there. That way you can set them upright like this. If you have the tail pointed down, it's harder. You can't like set him on a shelf. He'll lay on the side and he kind of gets messed up like that, unless you have like maybe a wire and you suspend him above a platform or something like that. But there's all kinds of interesting ways you can shape Ridley for his final pose. Take a look online at some of the poses he has in the video games and try to mimic something like that that you like, that looks threatening and menacing. Rah, Ridley!